Yo, let's talk about why are y'all struggling with your coaching business in 2025? So, I guess the biggest struggle with people is they're not getting sales, right? I would say that's the biggest concern to a lot of individuals who are in the coaching space is like, I'm pretty sure, yeah, it's 100% always going to be a sales issue for every issue that you're dealing with, right? Unless your product is not scalable in terms of how you deliver the service, but really it's a sales issue. So, the thing with coaching businesses is this is a business like it. You cannot sell this type of business model. It is a business model where you kind of just have to treat it as a cash flow business, which is great because you can kind of grow in terms of cash flow quickly. The only issue is that it's hard to sell it, right? So in terms of sales, right, you're gonna have to market your business like a madman, right? This type of business model requires you to run ads to grow. I know some of you guys hate the idea of running ads. You want to do everything organic. If you're gonna do everything organic, it's gonna take time and it's gonna be extremely unpredictable. The problem with organic traffic is extremely unpredictable. You are a slave to the algorithm, and at that point, it's gonna be hard for you to grow, and you can't control who watches your videos when it comes to organic, right? As opposed to if you were running ads, you can have like certain people sort of target a certain demographic, right, for them to watch your sort of content, right? So really what I'm trying to get at is you're struggling with your business because you're not marketing enough. You're not making enough offers to people, right? So it's either you're not getting enough leads, right? That's one area, or when you do get the leads, you're not able to close those leads for whatever reason, right? Either those leads don't have any money, or you're not a good enough closer to close them to change their belief for them to want to invest in you in particular. Maybe there's something in your marketing message that needs to be changed, right? A big issue with me was a lot of the clientele that I was getting just didn't have the finances to pay, right? Um, like at all, right? Because I was selling a high ticket offer, and a lot of the people like they don't even have $500 to their name, right? So there's nothing that I can do to really close those individuals. So I had to figure out, okay, how do I get better leads, right? And how do I get leads who can actually afford it, right? So that's one area that um, I was struggling with, and I'm still kind of struggling to this day. But I think I may have found a solution. There's like some software I heard of, Simple Check, which I'm probably going to test out very soon, which can tell you their buying power, how much money they make before they even get on a call. So that's one area that I'm looking into. But one way to alleviate that is by having a type form, right? I had a type form on my VSL where I was like, hey, if you book a call with me, I have very specific questions like, hey, this is a $4,000 investment. Like my program is $4,000 right now. This is a $4,000 investment, right? Do you have the finances to afford this? Yes, no, whatever, right? And the people who say no, then I immediately don't even, there's no point in even getting on a sales call with that individual, right? And actually with Typeform, you can route them out of your calendar so they won't even get to your calendar, which is really nice. Um, I also asked the qualifying questions like, do you have a job? Just to see, because my ideal customer is someone who's making maybe 50K a year, right? Has the money to invest, and is looking to increase their salary and make 80K to 90K, right? Because really what I'm teaching people is how to almost double their salary, right? So it's a definitely a good offer, but the problem is the people who didn't have the money to invest, right? So that's why I need to weed out those individuals who literally cannot make the payment, right? So that's the one issue. Another issue was my selling skills. I was afraid of selling. I was afraid of making that offer. I was afraid of asking for the money. I was afraid of all of that, right? And the more I realized it, like that's kind of dumb, right? If you can help people with something, with an offer, with coaching, it is your duty to teach them exactly how to do it, and it's your duty to make that offer. So do not be afraid of making an offer. I know it's kind of scary asking people for money. They may just hang up the call. That has never happened with me. Literally all you're doing is, I was even afraid of saying the price for whatever reason, but don't be afraid of making the offer, saying, hey, it's going to cost $4,000, right? We all have payment plans if you could afford that. And then asking for the money, say, hey, I'm getting ready to join, right? And that's kind of like literally all you have to do is keep making offers. Yeah, at some point, it's a numbers game. There's people who are absolutely never going to buy that you get on calls with. That's totally fine. There's people who are tire kickers who are like, let me think about it. I want to do it maybe. So you got to get better at your sales skills. My selling skills are not the best, guys. Like I'm still working on my selling. I need to be better at, because you need to convey your level of conviction that I have to that individual for them to want to invest, right? And if you can't do that, then there's nothing you can do to get them to actually buy, right? Literally, there's literally nothing you can do to get them to actually buy from you, right? So that's kind of one area when it comes to this particular business model, right? But all in all, like if you are trying to grow your coaching business, it all comes down to sales. And if you cannot sell, right? If you cannot convince people to buy, then you don't even have a business, and you're going to be struggling, because money solves all problems in this type of business, right? Because you can take the money that you make and reinvest it back into the business, right? And even if you are at a really bad ROAS, you can still be profitable, right? But the idea is if you're not getting sales for you to even get the opportunity to close people, and to get the opportunity to even invest back into the business, which is really investing back into the business is really just spending money on ads, right? That's kind of the highest ROI thing you can do in terms of reinvesting back into your business. Besides that, maybe would be some sort of like another hire to save you time, but not everything else really, it's irrelevant, I would say. Maybe like a better camera, but that's like once you've grown and you can see like an ROI on that. But really the big one is the ads. So you need to be able to have the cash that you get from the students, which you can use to reinvest back in content and ads. That's it. It's literally that simple. But if you don't have the money to do that, you're really, really, really going to struggle, right? The business is literally not going to function, right? That's why you have to be profitable, and then you have to, get those sales, because the more sales you get, the more mistakes you can make technically, right? Because even if you're, like I said, at a really bad ROAS, you can still be profitable with the business, right? So sales is the most important thing, right? And that's why you have to make sure you are tracking sales, you're following with prospects. That should be your number one goal for this type of coaching business, is how can I get more clientele? And then how can I get, from the clientele I get, how can I get them results? Obviously, getting them results is the most important, because like if you can't get them results, then obviously then your business doesn't even work, right? People won't even buy from you. But if you know it works, your next step is how do I get more sales, right? Otherwise, because if you don't sell to them, so they're gonna buy from someone else. Like, people want to buy, guys. Don't just assume people don't want to buy. The only reason they were not buying from you is because you didn't convince them enough to want to buy from you. And I made all those mistakes. And the last thing I want you guys to do is focus on anything else but acquiring more customers for your business, so you can reinvest back into the business and grow and make the product even better. Because like when you have more money, you can hire better coaches. You can hire, a student success manager, right? There's a lot of things you can do, but it comes down to getting the clientele in the first spot, so you can actually have the money to reinvest back into the business, right? So in 2025, that is the goal. That should be your only goal. So whether it's sales training, take a sales training course, practice sales, right? You guys are in the coaching business, right? You should also hire a coach who can help you with sales or whatever you need help with in terms of growing that business model, right? So that's all I want to say. In 2025, that's kind of what you have to do. And that's literally it, guys. It's that simple. Don't waste your time in terms of anything else but sales. Once you get more sales, you can reinvest back into the business. Everything's going to go smooth. But work on your sales skills, right? Selling is the most important thing, right? It solves all problems in your business for the most part. So thank you guys so much. Really appreciate the time. About to go home, get some work done, and we'll talk soon. Peace.